I quit drinking alcohol for 500 days, and here's exactly what happened during that process. So over 500 days ago, I decided to quit alcohol. And to give you a little bit of context, I grew up in Ireland as a young Irish guy who's mildly extroverted, and as a result, you become quite a little party boy. Over the ages of my late teens and early 20s, I was really interested in going out, partying, getting chicks, doing dumb stuff and dumb things you don't really want to do, but I did all the natural things. Now, most people don't have a problem with alcohol. I feel most people start these videos by saying they didn't have a problem with alcohol. I didn't really have a problem with it either. I just knew that I was following the tendencies of someone who drinks alcohol, right? I was out partying, I was the party boy, I was in Ibiza, I was traveling Thailand, Vietnam, I was all over the place, going to all these events. And you know what? I liked it and I enjoyed it, and that was the thing. A lot of my friends, great people, they all enjoy drinking alcohol, and I liked being there. I liked being part of the party, and that's just a natural thing that happens in your early 20s. You grow up more. I was coming out of university, I had a bit of money, and I was able to do a lot of these things, and there was nothing wrong with it at all. However, as time went on in my 20s, I realized that I wasn't really moving as fast as I wanted to. I saw a lot of these young guys on the internet making a lot of money, and I wasn't really doing that. When they were grinding out, building businesses, I was partying. I was going out and I was doing dumb shit. And I would come home and I would also be a hypocrite because I would record podcasts about it, about going out and about building stuff, but I wasn't really doing it. And I wondered, what was the missing link? Was it the fact that I was out drinking alcohol? Was it the fact that I was putting a lot of time into that? And could I make a change? So over 500 days ago, I said to myself, let's cut out alcohol for 1 month. Let's do it for a month and see what happens. I was moving to Singapore and I knew I wanted to take a bit of a change. The reason why is because alcohol in Singapore, by the way, is super expensive. So I said beforehand, let's quit and let's see how it happens. So in the first month, I thought to myself, what's going to happen during this? I'm quitting alcohol. What are going to be the benefits? One, my sleep improved dramatically. My health improved. My skin improved. I was also had an abundance of time. And this was only in the first month. I started getting a lot of those newbie gains from taking a break from it. Bear in mind, up until that point, I was that party boy. I would go out once a week, let's say, or once every 2 weeks and go to a big nightclub and drink a shit ton of gin, beer, not vodka because vodka's shit, and just do a lot of that stuff that I didn't want to do. So I got really nailed in and really focused. In the first month, had a ton of those kind of newbie gain benefits. Over the next 30 to 60 days, so going into month 2 and month 3, I didn't even think about it. I just said, let's keep on rolling this over. Let's see how this goes. Let's just see, do I get much more benefits? And it was crazy the amount of changes that were happening in my life, because when the weekend came, I was not thinking about going out and partying. I was either relaxing and taking it easy for my job because I was exhausted at the time and I was working 60 hours a week in finance, or I was working on new things that I wanted to focus on, which was my podcast, and also building my business on the side, which we're going to get to. So I was starting to get a lot of these benefits and none of the drawbacks. I was also saving a shit ton more money. Most people, they don't realize how much money you spend on drinks, right? You go out to a club, you get a couple of gin and tonics, you're also going out with a chick and you're paying for her drinks too, and you're getting a taxi, and the bills start to rack up continuously. So you're just basically going through life, spending all of your money or most of your disposable money on going out and partying. And you can still socialize, but that wasn't my idea. My idea was I wanted to get the health benefits from it. At the same time of giving up alcohol, I started to get way more focused on my training. I was someone who was really into health and fitness for many years, and I still was when I was drinking. But the way I think about this is the fact that if you are moving forward, so you're constantly training, and you're going up, and then you drink a shit ton of alcohol and party, you're hungover for half the week. And what I find is half of the week you're planning to go drinking, and half of the week you're recovering from that alcohol. So when you're training, this is killing your fucking progress. I was going backwards because my diet was off for 2 or 3 days of the week. My training was also off for half of the week. So when I started to get really focused on my training, I got a high performance coach who was also quitting alcohol as well, and we were able to progress so fucking fast. Over the next 6 months, I put on over 25 pounds of muscle because I was so focused in on my training. I was not partying, I was not going out doing stupid stuff, and I was able to get super clear. I eventually got into the best shape of my life over the past year, getting down to super lean, kept all my muscle, kept all my energy, and kept all my focus on my business and on on my podcast as a result, because I was not thinking about everything that was happening as a result. And these are all of the benefits that are happening. These are all the small things that you don't even realize, right? My body was recovering, I was sleeping better, and my sleep had been fucked for years. As a party boy, I was going out and partying and getting really, if not no sleep for many years on many of the weekends. And as a result, my midweek sleep was fucked up. My deep sleep, REM sleep, light sleep, everything, right? But now the fact that my recovery was much better, I was able to get into bed at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., sleep till 6 a.m. consistently. So I was recovering better mood. It was so simple to improve. Another benefit was I was leaving a job that I really fucking hated. I was working in finance. Everyone was miserable. Most people were working for the weekend. They were living for the weekend. And I hated that idea. I hated the fact that I hated what I was doing, that I would want to go out and party at the weekend. So I was able to leave my 9 to 5, which was a good job. I was making 100K a year, working in finance. And by having that extra bit of time, on a Saturday I was waking up, planning a lot of my content, building the business, getting clients, learning fulfillment, learning sales, learning marketing, because I had all of this extra time. Because instead of being out partying, I was able to put that time into learning the skills of business, learning how to play the entrepreneur, learning how to do all this stuff. And over the course of the next year, over that 500 days, I was able to build a multi-six-figure business from giving up alcohol. It was from giving up that habit that I was able to build a business from zero to multi-six figures in 1 year without any assistance. No bank of daddy, no VC funding, no rich uncle, no money back fucking guarantee from my parents. From my own cash that I had and my own ideas, I was able to put a plan out to the world and build and execute on that plan, which was absolutely insane to think. To think that be able to build a business in such a short period of time is very, very difficult to build over a few years. I was able to do it in a few months because I wake up, I would feel good, I would do my work, and then I would work on my business, and then I would at the weekend work on the business, and I wouldn't be distracted, right? And your focus is so fucking important. And when you're out partying and drinking and doing this and doing that, your focus is spread so thin that you're not able to achieve anything you want to achieve. We go back to the beginning of this video when I said I was young and I was not achieving what I thought I could have achieved as someone who was 24, 25, and 26 years old. I wasn't able to achieve those things to a certain level. And why was that? Let's look at my podcast. For people that don't know, Kickoff Sessions was a very slow growth. And it was only last year that it took off. We did 20 million views, more than 20 million views last year alone. And the reason why we did it is because I woke up and I was super focused on the goal. And I think the biggest issue here is people don't understand what they're going to do when they give up alcohol. It's like, what will they do? So let's just think about what happened for me, right? I gave up alcohol, I improved my sleep, I improved my training, I got in great shape, I built a huge business from it, or a business that I want to keep on building from it. I was able to grow my podcast significantly because I had activities that I was able to exert energy into. For most people, they think, well, what am I going to do if I can't go down to the pub and watch Man United versus Chelsea? What will I do myself? And that's because you don't have that goal to work towards. So my advice here is have that big overarching goal, have big, hairy, audacious goals that you can work towards. So when you remove alcohol from your life, that's what you're moving towards. When you get those texts, which will come from your high school friends that say, hey, you want to go drinking beers? You can say, no, I'm working on this. Sorry, I'm unavailable, I'm working on this. Sorry, I need to take a bit of a break from alcohol at the moment, I'm working on this. And it's not forever, it's just for now. You need to be able to take that break so that you can focus on those bigger goals, which is exactly what I was going to be able to focus on. So having that very narrow, deep focus allowed me to go into monk mode, or whatever you want to call it, for a year and be able to take that year and a half off. And it just compounds, right? When you give up for a month, you see some small benefits. When you give up for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, it has an exponential growth rate, okay? So when whatever you're building, whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, and it doesn't have to be business oriented. My relationships improved. Myself and my partner, we used to go out quite a lot. We'd go to like big events, big like techno events and DJs, and we'd pay for these events. And I just felt like that I was in like a bad mood half the time because I was just like hungover. So our relationship improved significantly. We spend our times now, instead of going out partying at the weekend, either rescuing dogs, spending times with our dogs, traveling, doing other stuff, going to nice restaurants, and just enjoying life more. Because life is not about using consumer products to make your life better. It's about using what's already like within us, because we already have all the answers, and being able to use these to improve your life as a result. result. I did not need alcohol to have a good life. I need to have good experiences. So if you're looking at what are you going to do when you give up alcohol, which is the biggest focus for people, it's about creating those experiences with other people or having those goals. Beyond the business stuff, my relationships improved. I was able to have better conversations, even things like my speech, how I'm even presenting myself today, my thoughts coming into my words and my reality has been so much clearer. You can see over the episodes because I'm just becoming like basically more intelligent. I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm speaking, I'm writing, and having that feedback loop means that I can present myself in a better way. I was also able to use this money, bear in mind, to travel way more. So in the past year, I've recorded podcasts all around the world. Bali, Singapore, Dubai, the UK, North Carolina, New York. I've been able to put on these huge productions because I'm not like strapped for cash, because I'm not spending it on fucking drinking alcohol and partying, because that discretionary stuff has gone on to stuff that I enjoy. And this is a pursuit that I want to do. Right? And it's a way to restructure and reframe where you go. So if I looked at where I was from 0 to 6 months and where we are now from 6 months up to 500 days, the benefits of that delayed change are kicking in. And that's the thing with focus, that's the thing with time and pressure. If you give up that short-term sacrifice back then and not sacrificing long-term goals for short-term happiness, e.g. not giving up on your long-term goals for a double gin and tonic with your fucking friends, then that delayed gratification will kick in at 6 months, will kick in at a year, and you'll get those exponential results. And that's the biggest fear that I have, what other people have when they're thinking about giving up alcohol, is that they don't see the benefit from it. But you also have to understand where you're going in the future. Andrew Huberman proved in his famous podcast that alcohol has no benefits for us. There is 0 health benefits that comes from alcohol. There are arguably maybe social benefits, but you can also find a better tribe. Since giving up over the course of 500 days, I found a better tribe to hang out with. I found people that I want to build experiences on. At the weekend, we go for hikes, we go surfing, we go fucking walking, we go on the beach with people who are also interested in this stuff. I much more identify with that area of health and fitness versus being out partying all the time. Partying is fun, but it's not exactly what I want to do forever. And that's why that shift in identity was huge for me, because I had identified as the 21-year-old party boy of Ibiza, and then I changed that identity to someone who, one, appreciates like longevity, health, fitness, and also wants to build a much stronger foundation for me, my business, my relationships, and my family. And because of having that split focus, or having that different focus, I was able to realign my identity. And I no longer identify as a 21-year-old party boy. I'm able to identify as the individual who's progressing, who's making actual advancements with what they want to do. And if you have criticism, which is going to be another section of this, that's going to be part of the change, because people worry about what they're going to do as they're changing, because you still have the same shell as the previous life. But as time goes on, you'll start to kind of break that shell as if it's like a fucking hermit crab, and you will develop a new identity. And that's the biggest change here, is because when you quit, and when you quit alcohol, you will get negative feedback from people. People will say you've changed. People will say you're different, you look different, you act different, and that's a fucking good thing. Because if you are changing, that means you're moving in the right direction. And part of that change may be to let go of those individuals who told you that you have changed. If they're trying to pull you back into their life of mediocrity, that's when you know you have changed and you've moved in the right direction, and it's time to let these individuals go. And that's part of becoming a man or becoming a woman, is growing up and having that next layer of your lifestyle. I do not think about that stuff anymore. And that's the beauty. Now the fact that I've let go of the identity, I no longer think about going out and partying and doing this stuff. I still want to go for a beautiful dinner, and I can sit down with a friend who does like alcohol. They can have a red wine or a beer, and I can have a $50 steak, and I'd be more than happy to do that. And I'm much more enjoy to realign my resources towards things that are much beneficial to me, right? Much more beneficial. So I can sit down and have that really nice dinner. I can sit down and order that really expensive steak because it's going to be beneficial for me. And we can still do other stuff with the friends that want to do other stuff, but you don't necessarily need to still have those old identity friends. So my advice to you is to really understand that the benefits that are going to come from giving up alcohol could change your entire life. If you find yourself caught in a rut, find yourself in a difficult scenario financially, which is really big for people, career-wise, stuck in a trap, this could be your way out. It's not going to be a silver bullet. You still got to do the fucking work. You still got to change your life and change your identity and do everything. But it could be the first step. Over Christmas, over the last couple of months during the holiday period, if you found yourself in a vicious cycle of partying, going out, doing everything the wrong way, you need to break that cycle. And the first way to break the cycle is alcohol, is that pattern. Because the second the alcohol goes, you're going to improve your diet. You're going to want to improve your diet further. Your training is going to improve. Your life is going to improve. And it's just going to keep on snowballing from there. Face the fear of what's going to happen with people around you, what they're going to say, but they're not part of your identity forever. Remember, the friends you have today, or the so-called friends you have today, don't have to be your friends forever. And you're going to find a tribe, new bound of people that are going to find this very interesting. And I hope this video add a lot of value to your life. And if you do want to make a change, let me know, and I'd love to even assist you and give you some positive feedback on this, because it's going to be one of the biggest impacts you could have in your life. And it's been 500 days for me now, just over 500 days, and I'm really excited to see how the next 500 days will come out. So I want to thank you for watching this full video. If you do enjoy this video, please leave a comment down below. First thing, leave a comment, subscribe down below too, and I really appreciate it, and best of luck.